Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormie Grace, and welcome to your weekly astrological horoscope for the week of January 8th, moving all the way to the 14th. We've got a new moon week on our hands, and if you haven't had the chance to check out your video about the new moon, where I also break it down for each of the 12 rising signs, you can click up above and check that out, or just click into the playlist on the homepage to take advantage of what this really, really powerful new moon has to offer you in terms of manifesting a nice transformation for yourself. So make sure that you click over there and check that out. But if you are here and you are interested in what the vibration of the week has to offer you so that you can work with it in a day-by-day way, that's exactly what we're going to do as we break down the week. So if we haven't met before, I'm astrologer Stormie Grace. I'm a practicing professional astrologer. I am from Colorado and I am currently residing in Spain. Thrilled to bring you the energy of the cosmos. Now, before we jump in and talk about what this week has to offer, my beautiful friends, remember you want your astrological toolkit to be nice and loaded and to help you out, to help you also walk through every week, every year of 2024. We've got our digital transit calendars, and you get a little bit of a discount if you use my code in the description box down below. And remember to check out your January monthly video. And in the monthly video, there are timestamps below in the description box, so you can look at it just for your sign or your rising sign or your moon sign. Some people even like to listen for their Venus sign. So there's timestamps to help you get where you need to be going in that monthly video, okay? As well, you can pop over to stormiegrace.com, where now I have got my newly built astrology encyclopedia, where it's giving you quick breakdowns of just about any placement you could be looking for. So even as you're listening to this video and I'm giving you a general breakdown and you think, okay, well, where is the full moon actually happening in my chart? What house? It's happening in the 5th house. Okay, the breakdown will show you full moon in the 5th house in this sign. Here's what it means. So if you're looking for a quick reference guide, that is a beautiful thing for you to be able to check out. And last but not least, if you are looking to learn astrology, get your foundations in place, I've got my Astrology 101 and 102 digital courses on sale for you for the entire month of January. Click in the description box down below and grab your bundle. All right, soulmates, getting into this week, it's actually as we're coming in on Monday, the energy of the cosmic sky is a bit quiet. We've got the moon in Sagittarius, so it's a very optimistic, fiery, we're getting into the week kind of energy. However, one of the things that caught my attention is, first of all, Sagittarius is a mutable energy. So when we're dealing with mutable energies, depending on what else is going on in the background, we can find that our mutable energies are worrisome. Instead of just making the transition from this thing to the next thing, which is what a mutable energy does, it can be worrying about how to get from this thing to this thing. And if we look just back a couple days into last week, we saw that the sun came into a square with Chiron. Now, this particular arrangement, the square is our 911. Okay, it's telling us I need to do something. I need to take an action, or I will take an action, because there's so much tension here. And with the sun squaring Chiron, thinking about the beginning of this week and this moon either taking us from one thing to the next or just worrying about it, it's this this conflict between this expression of who you are and where you're feeling called to go and your healing process, right? So the sun, light, heat, life, motivation, I'm ready to build, I'm ready to go forward, I'm ready to leave my legacy, author a new story, squaring against Chiron, but I have this different identity and I am healing, I am changing. Something in me is different, but I don't feel confident in what I'm doing just yet. I don't feel like I know, I'm grappling with my own self-confidence to move something forward. I do still, even as I'm walking forward, feel like I can really encounter the space of the wound where I'm like, who am I to say that? Imposter syndrome. Can I really do this? Maybe this is for other people. So there's this dance as we're coming into this week that I think is a little bit of a background energy that may be guiding us into Monday, well into Tuesday and Wednesday. So one of the things I want to cue you to as we're coming in on Monday is that is, first of all, normal, and it's very real. You're about to walk and to move and to breathe and to make decisions as a version of yourself that you are. You have landed at that version, but you maybe don't trust that version just yet because you don't know fully how that version of you operates. And so where you have this beautiful opportunity for profound healing and growth and to demonstrate that, it's okay if you don't feel grounded in fully yet. We have to walk a little bit to grow into the experience. I call it, like I want to just really believe that I'm this thing, but I typically don't really believe that I'm this version of myself until I take actions that let me demonstrate and let me train and see how this new version of myself works. So one of the things I want to just offer you here on Monday as we're coming to the week is to embrace the vulnerability of it. Embrace the vulnerability. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. Allow yourself to be open about the challenges that you are taking on. Maybe even if you have people who are in your world and they deserve to hear your vulnerability, share your experiences with them, because that is actually, with Chiron and Aries, it's a huge crucial piece of the healing process is to say out loud that I am growing, I am changing, this is who I am, and this is where I'm great, and this is also where I struggle, where I'm afraid, whatever that piece of the vulnerability is. And this also, I think, becomes a really delicious piece of your creative process because it allows you to not only explore creative outlets to get you out of feeling so raw and so intensely vulnerable, that it gives you a space where you're going to look for creative ways to express that energy or to take on an endeavor, in a more artistic way. But I think it also gives you the confidence to seek the support that you need. And that includes seeking support in your mind-body practice. Are you changing and you're becoming this version of yourself and you're struggling so much in that confidence energy that your body is taking the hit and you need to develop a physical practice, right? Maybe a somatic practice to release all of this electricity. Uranus is in Taurus. It is running lightning bolts consistently through a physical form. You're running lightning bolts through the mountain. Your body is that mountain. So where do you need to seek support and engage in mind-body practices? But you need somebody to lead you. Did you know, I had no idea about this, but did you know that this inability to just sit down and finish a project is sometimes really an indicator of how much electricity is running through your body, and we need a somatic process to just release that. There's a nice holistic approach that we can use to get that out of our body. Did you know that sometimes when it's the end of the day and it's time to rest and it's time to put the day away and you can't, it's called sabotage, sleep sabotage, right? These are things that maybe your mind-body practice will call you to seek some support on. And astrologically, it's very well supported. Instead of staying in this Moon in Sagittarius worry energy, it can help you lean into and take advantage of making the transition from this thing to this thing. And the last thing I'll say about it is it creates a lot of acceptance as well when we can share this vulnerability and lean into sharing who we really are, because it takes away the terminal uniqueness. You're not the only one feeling this. No one is exempt from the Sun Chiron aspect. And to the extent that they are expressing it in the world, will be where you feel like you can connect. But when you share, we stop being alone. And a burden shared is half a burden, okay? But also, you are this new version. You just maybe don't fully know it yet. All right, when we get to Tuesday, we're going to see the moon move into a void of course position. But first, we are going to see Mercury come into a square with Neptune. Okay, as Mercury and Neptune square one another, first of all, we've got our planet of communication recently out of its retrograde, but not fully out of the post-retrograde shadow time. So Mercury is still dealing with some energies that are happening here that have already been on the table, and they're very Sagittarian of nature, a new faith, a new belief, a new expansion in some way. Now, squaring against Neptune that is in Pisces, we have this energy where, first of all, I do want to tell you, it's a little bit more of a red flag energy for me, and I don't have very many of those, but it's almost as if what you're looking at, what you're perceiving, is not exactly, it's not exactly what it is. And you've got to walk and move really slowly on Tuesday to let it reveal itself. You know, it's a day where Tuesday, I feel like it is a walk of faith. It is absolutely a walk of faith where you've been vulnerable. There's a vulnerability out there. You're ready to take this next step, but something feels like it maybe doesn't sit just right just yet in your soul. And so you're having to walk very slowly and let each moment reveal itself. It's also the space and the place of gentle action that I was talking about before, where I come to believe that I'm this next version by taking action, not just thinking about it. So, you know, if I say I really want to eat better, right? I can think about it, I can call, I can manifest that, I can keep it all up here that I want, but my fingertips need to put the sugar down for just a second. And maybe I'm only able to avoid the sugar for 5 minutes. And then I need to take a deep breath and reset. And I'm living every 5 minutes. That's very much so the Mercury and Neptune kind of dance, but it's gentle. It's not this little kitty hanging from the wire going, oh my God, hang in there. You know what I mean? It's this gentle walk forward. Other ways too are that, you know, maybe if it's not avoiding something, it's stepping into something. Maybe I'm taking a new training, learning to build something new. And it looks like a big old mess. It looks like a big old mess. I don't understand. I don't understand how this process is going to help me and be useful to me. And I have to just take and follow the process because maybe someone knows something that I don't, especially if they've been successful with the process. And I have to trust that the actions they're showing me and that I'm taking and implementing will work for me too. So that's very much so. It is another energy too where I really mean it. What you're looking at you just may not be clear on it. So be a little bit mindful for accidents and things like that happening on this particular day. Then we see the moon going to go void, of course, and it's time to rest a bit. Now, after that, we see the sun come into a trine with Uranus in Taurus, okay? So this is a beautiful earth trine. Now, we've got the new moon heading towards this vibration as well. But as the moon comes into this trine with Uranus, it's exciting. If there is something, there's this sense like, you know, you're looking at your project you're working on and you're like, this is a mess. I do not know what I'm doing. I followed the steps. I don't get it. But there's this sense of excitement that's there that it's like, hold on. I do want to try this. I do want to take this on. And like the excitement is kicking up just a little bit because new possibilities are available. Now, I also want you to make a really big note on your calendar because today, as this energy comes and it pours in, we're going to see it again on September 19th. So what did you start? What was happening here that we're going to track in September and say, oh my gosh, the excitement was here. I tried something different. I experimented with this, and here's what it looks like down in September, okay? Now, after the moon's done void, of course, it's going to move into the vibration of Capricorn. So the moon traveling in Capricorn for this next few days, first of all, I really want to ask you, where do you need to get some emotional structure together? You know, I tend to be, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to be kind of all or nothing. I want it all to be perfect. I want to know how to do it today. I want this mastery, you know, and that's some level of my growth and development. But for you as well, where do you need to make emotional peace with the fact that new foundations require new vulnerability and require us to inch out to build something brick by brick by brick? And where can you be at peace for that? Where can you come home into yourself as the moon is traveling here in Capricorn and say, I am responsible for the future that I will have in my life. I am responsible also, though, for my emotional life, right? So this is a great day to have a review of that. But again, to do it gently, do it easily. This is not about, you know, beating yourself down while you're growing into something new. To close out the day, we're going to see Mars come into a trine with Saturn. Now, I actually like this because Mars can be the teenager energy, which is like, I do what I want, I'm about it, let's go right now. And Saturn can be more of that parent energy that is like, okay, well, within a certain bounds. So sometimes as Mars and Saturn dance together, we can find them clashing and there's a tension. But here they're in this beautiful sextile, which means they're creating a pocket of opportunity that you will intelligently take action on. And the action is Saturnian. There is discipline in this action. Mars is traveling through the vibration of Capricorn. They are in alignment with one another, right? So it's like, first of all, yes, you need hard work and endurance and persistence to whatever it is that you're going to commit to, but get the strategy in place, write it down, put it on paper. What are the steps you're going to follow in order to get something to actualize? What are the steps that you're going to follow that someone else gave you? And they're like, if you do these things, you will get the results that I want. One of my favorite examples that a friend shares with me is he always says, listen, some things are just about doing what the people in front of you did and then letting your mind and your understanding catch up to it. For example, if you go into a gym and you ask one of the women in there, you say, wow, you're in great physical shape. How do you do what you do? And she gives you the workout plan that she does, right? Whether your head understands it or not, if you go to the gym for 30, 60, 90 days and you do exactly what was laid out for her, modifications provided, of course, you're likely going to end up with physical results of what that person got. Regardless of what your head is telling you, the physical results will present themselves. And I also think that this is just such a lovely example when we're thinking about Saturn, when we're talking about bones and building these enduring muscles. So, where is it that some structure, you're willing and able to create it or to follow it, and that discipline is going to pay dividends to you as we travel the rest of this week. Okay, when we get to Wednesday, we are going to see the sun in a square over here to the North Node, and we're going to also see this conversation happening and lighting up with the South Node. Now, Sun square North Node energy is, first of all, right, my light, my heat, my vitality. I want to go this direction. I want to shine like this. But squaring the North Node, again, to me, is this symbolism that we started out in the beginning of the week, but it's like, I don't feel confident. But the call here of this particular square is not to sit down and shut up and be with your lack of confidence. It's fear, right? It's I'm afraid. I have some level of fear invested in this, but I also have courage available to me. So I'm going to try it anyway. And this is a spectacular way to evolve when I have everything I need to do the work, to do the growth. I'm just doubting myself. So I take that action to watch myself evolve and unfold in a way that I never could before. Because to make this kind of evolution that we have available this month and this year, it does require that we challenge our own previous identities and egos. And the best way to deflate the ego and instead step into something more powerful and then let the ego align to that is to take the action. Now, also, in the conversation with this South Node, it really is breaking down that relation. Previous relationships that have been here or previous ways to relating have to break down in order to move powerfully towards a new future. So it's an absolutely brilliant energy. Now, we're also going to see that Venus comes into a trine or a pocket of ease and opportunity with Chiron. So it makes it easier, right? I think that this makes having the courage, being encouraged a little bit easier. So look for inspiration on Wednesday. What inspires you to move forward? What inspires you to rest comfortably within your soul, knowing that the growth and the actions that you're taking are enough for today? Maybe today is a rest day for you, but you can be inspired to it. Because really what I think that Wednesday has to offer before we jump into this new moon on Thursday is a place to rest in your own seat of love and wisdom, right? It is here. You are doing and you are enough. You're also just in a state of growth, and growth requires inspiration. It requires being aligned with people who are doing and going the direction that I would like to see my life going as well, okay? On Thursday, this is where we pop in and we've got this new moon happening at 20 degrees of Capricorn, asking us to plant our seeds of intention to really begin a new powerful manifestation and transformation happening at this particular time. So check out that new moon in Capricorn video to get much more detail about that. But just know we're going to be planting those seeds of intention. Be mindful, be intentional at this new moon and every moon we experience this month, but especially the new moons, because what you plant for good or for ill, you're going to need to work on. So don't let it just breeze by. Take some time this year to create ceremony and ritual and intention for you in your life. You are paying for your visit to this planet in time every day. So how will you intentionally use your time, okay? After that, we'll see the moon go void, of course, before it rocks and rolls into the vibration of Aquarius for the next couple days. As we get to that Aquarian vibration, we're going to ask, where can I innovate? Where can I emotionally innovate? Where can I let go of this thinking is outdated? It doesn't work for me anymore. Where can I invite a future-minded, innovative version of myself? Where do I need to detach maybe from how emotionally I feel? And I think a really good example of this is I can get caught up in I'm learning and I'm building something new and I have all of these feelings about it. It's like, oh my God, I'm feeling, almost to the point I do feeling paralysis sometimes, right? And it's like, sometimes I have to put aside how I feel and again take this action. And when I take the action, it's like I can't think myself into a new vibration. I have to act myself into new thinking. And then my feelings calm, because half the time my feelings are just my head and my ego going, no, that's scary over there. Don't do something different. And when I take this action, the first thing that always happens for me is that my mind and my ego go, oh my God, we did something different and we didn't die, which is very important to me. We didn't die and we didn't starve, right? So this can be a day where you're going, okay, where do I need to pull a little detachment? Breathe. I'm creating freedom here. Where can I dip into the collective, watch cat with cucumber videos, have a laugh, whatever brings a little bit of levity to this particular situation. When we get to Friday, we've got Mars in a trine now to Jupiter, who's over in Taurus, okay? So this is, again, another Earth trine, so we're making changes in the material reality, and an opportunity is available here. So this is big energy. Mars is ready to go. It's that big energy. I just thought of Lotto. Have you guys heard of big energy? Lotto, sampled from Mariah Carey. Anyway, so this is that big energy. So this is the time for you to think big, put your big kid chest on, and go forward and build. But again, you may be feeling some of this creep in even as we're at, Wednesday, Thursday this week, but definitely your big hit, your big dose of I'm ready to expand this show on the road shows up for you on Friday. Now we're going to see a long period of void, of course, moon as we're traveling Saturday before the moon gets into Pisces for the next couple days. But as the moon moves into this vibration of Pisces, I invite you to surrender. I invite you this weekend to create space for yourself, to surrender, to go home, to go to your space, wherever it is, and literally come within your own being and your own life and maybe even your own eyes and exhale. Surrender. Surrender to win. Don't surrender to escape. Surrender to win, not to escape. Right? Allow yourself to create. If you're feeling creative this weekend, dance, put on that good music. I don't know if you guys have heard the new Jack Harlow song, Lovin' on Me, also sampled. But anyways, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. Put it on. Create some content. Love on yourself. Other questions, though, that I would ask you to consider as we're traveling throughout the weekend is where you are creating, especially emotionally, but also with the people around you, healthy boundaries. Because remember, boundaries are not about keeping me in and you out. They're simply about saying, here's the line that we're able to engage with. Because when you take on too much of me, then I become beholden to you. And when I take on too much of you, I become resentful. So we need somewhere in the middle, we need a surrender. And so that surrender, culmination, or transformation may also look like, what projects are you putting down? One of my favorite projects that I need to practice putting down every day is the thinking. I will think myself into a paralysis, and I'm like thinking, and it's like surrender. Believe with childlike faith that you are seated in the palms of the universe, safe and protected, and that your dreams and desires, as long as you're doing the footwork, are already unfolding ahead of you. And there's also cosmic and spiritual guidance and support available for you as long as you ask. All right, my absolutely beautiful friends, I hope you have a gorgeous week. Please let me know how you're doing, what's unfolding for you in the comment section down below. If you are looking and you're ready to have a reading with me, you're ready to get some consultation, move some things forward. Remember, with mentorship, we go further faster. So if that's what you're on about, click in the description box down below, get a session with me, get a package with me. That's a better way to work. And let's do this astrology and life thing together, okay? Bye, my beautiful friends.